Infrastructures seem to be everywhere in the political discourse these days. Any major global actor, ranging from China to the EU and even the US, is putting forward an infrastructure strategy for the world, competing for the global leadership in the connectivity initiatives. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, in fact, a general consensus at the international level has emerged for an infrastructure-led recovery. As part of massive fiscal stimulus plans that many countries have approved during the last 2 years, quality infrastructure has been recognized as crucial to relaunch economies and ensure a sustainable green transition. As the World Bank itself estimates, for each dollar invested in infrastructure, 4 in benefits are generated. This is key to bear in mind when we think that, for instance, according to the Global Infrastructure Hub, the world infrastructure gap is about $640 billion per year. This infrastructure-led post-pandemic recovery has been coupled with the increasingly ambitious climate pledges by both advanced and emerging economies, creating a sort of magic momentum that represents a unique opportunity to develop green and sustainable infrastructure. In all the recovery plans to boost long-term growth and quickly regain the economic potential lost in the pandemic, infrastructure investments go hand in hand with decarbonization of economies and climate neutrality targets. Even China, which has a long history of financing carbon-intensive emitting projects abroad, has committed to carbon neutrality by 2060, while the US and the EU have put 2050 as the deadline and consequently are much more involved in championing sustainability and high-quality infrastructure. At the 2021 G7 meeting in the UK, the members of the group have come together with a Build Back Better for the World, a coordinated effort to provide investment in low-income and emerging economies, tackling not only growth but also sustainability. The cornerstone of this initiative is certainly the focus on high-quality infrastructure investments that would be fully compliant with the Paris climate agreements. Largely intended and perceived as sustainable, the Western-led initiatives represent an attempt to coordinate and harmonize different approaches and projects. The US had in fact already launched the Blue Dot Network in partnership with Australia and Japan, which in turn promoted the Partnership for Quality Infrastructure in 2016, stressing the importance of high standards in infrastructural projects. The EU, on the other hand, has created several connectivity strategies in the recent years, all of which have an infrastructural focus. The 2018 EU-Asia Connectivity Strategy has been followed by an EU-Japan Connectivity Partnership and lastly by an EU-India Connectivity Partnership. While those initiatives tend to encompass several areas for cooperation and investment, the domain of infrastructure, both physical and digital, plays a key role. Contrary to the BRI, what makes the EU-sponsored initiatives significant is not only the economic firepower, but rather the standard-setting power. In the field of infrastructure, in fact, the EU is steadily emerging as a global actor able to set the necessary qualitative and environmental standards, paving the way for the rest of the world to follow. This is the purpose of the Globally Connected Europe initiative, endorsed by the European Council in July, and that will be implemented in spring 2022. The initiative stresses the importance of investing in both physical infrastructure and regulatory frameworks, and emphasizes the importance of connectivity partnership with like-minded countries and regions, also with a clear goal of mobilizing the private sector to finance and implement projects. While the global competition for sustainable infrastructure initiatives has many spillovers, notably an increase in the financial support for development projects, it also presents several challenges. The main one is that different, uncoordinated and often rival initiatives limit the global consensus to the necessity of infrastructural investments, while creating confusion on what needs to be financed and how. In this perspective, the G20 is an international forum to look up to. In fact, only a forum where all the global players are represented would allow to agree on a global effort to close the infrastructure gap and to set common objectives and potentially also rules and standards. A critical concern that needs to be addressed is the need to create a level playing field for infrastructural financing, taking into account the needs of developing countries and the worries of private investors. To reduce the large existing infrastructure gap and build a quality infrastructure that contributes to sustainable development, it is indeed crucial to efficiently allocate available financial resources, coordinate the various existing funds for climate resilience, and promote a blending of public and private resources through development financial institutions, with the ultimate goal to reduce the perceived risk for private investors and increase the bulk of available financial resources to finance quality infrastructure. In this sense, the G20 remains the privileged forum to find a common ground among the several national and international infrastructure plans, and share a minimum set of ESG indicators that would allow the development of sustainable infrastructure as an asset class. This is an indefferable choice if we want to meet the ambitious environmental targets, at the same time ensuring a long-term sustainable recovery with benefits for the well-being of people and planet. Geopolitical competition must be tempered with international cooperation when it comes with this higher purpose.